Saturday Squad, how we doing? Yes, would you stand up with me and join me up front, as far up as you want to come? It's cool. Hey, we're going to do a little bit of acoustic, so we're going to need lots of energy from you guys. We're still going to do some of the moves and things you remember from camp, but let's have some fun, right? Let's worship God. Here we go.
Going down, thought it was for the count. Then I found your love. I had wandered off, thought I had gone too far. There I found your love. Fear I used to know can't stop me anymore, 'cause I found your love. When I feel alone, I have a place to go, 'cause I found your love. Grace was the debt of sin. Grace brought me back again. And now I am rising up, won by the Savior's love. Your love is higher than the stars, declaring who you are. Your love's uncontainable. Your love is deep enough to reach the deepest part of me. Your love's uncontainable. Your love. Fear I used to know can't stop me anymore, 'cause I found your love. When I feel alone, I have a place to go, 'cause I found your love. Come on, guys. Great was the debt of sin. Grace brought me back again. Now I am rising up, won by the Savior's love. Your love is higher than the stars, declaring who you are. Your love's uncontainable. Your love is deep enough to reach the deepest part of me. Your love is uncontainable. Your love. Nothing, no nothing contains your love. Nothing, no nothing can change your love. Nothing, no nothing contains your love. Nothing, no nothing can change your love. Nothing, no nothing contains your love. Nothing, no nothing can change your love. Nothing, no nothing contains your love. Nothing, no nothing can change your love. Is higher than the stars, declaring who you are. Your love's uncontainable. Your love is deep enough to reach the deepest part of me. Your love, uncontainable. Your love is higher than the stars, declaring who you are. Your love's uncontainable. Your love is deep enough to reach the deepest part of me. Your love is uncontainable. Your love, nothing, no nothing contains your love. Nothing, no nothing can change your love. Nothing, no nothing contains your love. Nothing, no nothing can change your love.
So just as we sing this song, we're just remembering back to what God has done, specifically more at this camp. But let's just sing this out.
Heaven spun creations, His pride and adoration, treasures woven by His love. His careful hands, they hold us safe within his promise, calling and of destiny. Where heaven spun creations, his pride and adoration, treasures woven by his love. His careful hands, they hold us safe within his promise, calling end of destiny.
And I will sing of all you've done, and I'll remember how far you carried me from beginning to the end. You are faithful, faithful to the end.
A father's heart that's for me, a never-ending story of love that's always chasing me. His kindness overwhelming and hope for me unending. He's never given up on me. And I will sing of all you've done, and I'll remember how far you carried me from beginning to the end. You are faithful, faithful to the end. And I will sing of all you've done, and I'll remember how far you carried me from beginning to the end. You are faithful, faithful to the end, until the end, until the end. You are faithful, God. Oh. There wasn't a day that you weren't by my side. There wasn't a day that you let me fall. In all of my life, your love has been true. With all of my life, I will worship you. Oh, there wasn't a day that you weren't by my side. There wasn't a day that you let me fall. In all of my life, your love has been true. With all of my life, we will worship you. We will worship you. 'Cause you are faithful. We will worship you for all you've done. We will worship you. Sing it out with me. There wasn't a day that you weren't by my side. There wasn't a day that you let me fall. In all of my life, your love has been true. With all of my life, we will worship you.
What's up, Saturday Squad? So good to be here with you guys. You guys can have a seat, have a seat. It's so good to be here with you. So I'm really excited. I don't know if you know this guy next to me, but I want to introduce him to you. His name is John. John, now, if you didn't know this, is actually going to be with y'all here at Saturday Squad. He's amazing. He's one of my friends. He's going to be here every Saturday. Love John. One of the things we were talking about is we were just doing that weird series. You guys remember that? And there's a lot of weird stuff about us. I don't know if you guys remember. I have pink hair, like because of you. So I'm really weird right now. But John, what's like one really weird thing about you?
Well, so there's this one weird thing I learned how to do actually when I was about your guys' age. If you look really close, I can actually look like a frog.
Whoa.
Yeah, I
That's
can
so
kind of
weird.
croak out my yeah, it's kind of a weird
Anyone
a
else
weird
do the
thing.
frog? Anyone else?
Can anyone else do that?
That's weird.
I don't think I've ever met anyone else that can do that, so it's kind of weird.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So John's here. He's awesome. He's gonna be with us on Saturday Squad. Love John. Hey John, what do we have coming up? Didn't you like? were
Well,
we talking
yeah.
about
So I just started this week, and everyone keeps talking about this thing called Frenzy. You know,
Frenzy.
all of the staff members are keep bringing that up, and they're all pumped about it. What is that all about?
You guys remember what Frenzy is? Yeah, isn't Frenzy amazing? So I was telling John, it's pretty crazy. It's going to be epic. Frenzy is September 30th. We want you to invite all of your friends to come. It's kind of like this massive carnival, right? So we're going to have inflatables, games, fun things to do. It's a great place to invite friends to. So especially since we were just talking at Summer Peak, if you guys were there, about the importance of inviting friends. This is one of those easy things you can do to invite your friends to church. Because it doesn't feel like church. It's just a ton of fun. They get to meet people, get to meet your small group. It's a ton of fun. So you guys can check that out there. It's September 30th. So put it on your calendars. Tell your parents. Register online. It's going to be amazing. So I'm super excited. We're also, this week, I'm really pumped because how many of you guys went to Summer Peak? Yeah. So it's your guys' fault that I have pink hair. I see you. I see you right now. So one of the things, though, that we know that happens at Summer Peak is God moves in crazy ways, right? And so what we're going to do today is we actually want to hear some of those stories. And so I want you to be even thinking right now, if you're here today and you feel like, man, I really had an amazing weekend and God did something in my life this weekend, Matt's going to come up and he's going to offer an opportunity for you guys to come up and actually share 1 minute briefly of what God did in your lives. And so I want you guys to be thinking about that right now. And if you want to come up, he's going to invite you up and it's going to be awesome. And so, John, will you pray for us as we go into that time?
Absolutely. Will you guys pray with me? Heavenly Father, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for this family, this Saturday Squad family that you've just made here in this place, Lord, in your house. Lord, I want to just thank you for the leaders and the students here. Lord, may you just speak in some powerful ways. Lord, you showed up in amazing ways at camp, and may you just continue to do that this entire school year, this entire season. Lord, our hearts are ready for you. Thank you so much, and in your precious name, amen.
We were created for more. We were created to reach, to fly. But often, we are weighed down by baggage from our past. Fear, pain, sin. It keeps us tethered and grounded, living halfway between the launch pad of life and freedom in Christ. But the truth is, God has redeemed our past. He has broken the chains of fear, pain, and sin that have kept us tethered. He has redeemed them for His glory. In Him, we have the ability to reach, to fly, and He wants us to bring others along.
Okay, well, this was a very long week for me because I got to spend a lot of time with you guys last weekend and then had to wait a really long time to see you this weekend. So I'm so pumped to be back here with y'all and be talking about, all kinds of things that God is doing in our lives. Is everybody pretty sick of, you guys ate a lot of ice cream? You guys have a bunch of, everybody belly's full with ice cream. Okay, don't puke ice cream on your neighbor. Okay, be nice to them. Don't do that. If you do puke, just swallow it back down, okay? Swallow that sucker back down. I know I've seen some of you do it before. Just go for it. Don't do any of those. Just don't puke, period. Okay, so here's the deal. We're going to do a little recap, and there's two big things that I want us to do today. There's two big things that I need us to understand. Number one, what happens at Summer Peak doesn't stay at Summer Peak. All right, it has to come back here. Because if what happened at Summer Peak, if what God did at Summer Peak stayed at Summer Peak, it would be pointless. The whole point is for God to change our lives and for it to catapult us forward through the rest of our school year. For God to do something in us that we can then help to see in others. Right? We talk about this word reveal. And we said, what if God started revealing who He created us to be? And as he was doing that, it started to reveal who he was, not only just to ourselves, but also to our friends and other people around us. So what happens at Summer Peak doesn't stay at Summer Peak. We need to do it here as well. We need to let our relationship with God continue to moving forward. The second thing is this. If you did not go to Summer Peak, okay, I do admittedly want you to feel a little bit jealous, okay? I do want you to feel like, oh man, I wish I would have went, because I want you to go to Winter Peak or to Summer Peak next year or whatever. I do a little bit kind of want you to feel a little bit jealous, but mostly I want you to realize that we want to bring you along on the journey. All right, I don't want you to feel awkward or like an outcast or anything like that, because we're going to bring you along. In fact, I want to catch you up as to where we're going. All right, some of you are like, I didn't go to Summer Peak and I don't know what it was like. I don't know what happened there. Well, my hope is that by the end of the day, that you'll be able to see what God is doing in other people's lives, what he's doing in your small groups' lives, that you can get to know a little bit more of what's going on in their life, and then you guys can move forward from there. So we want to bring you along on this journey. In fact, let me tell you a little bit about what happened there. Not only was it like crazy and insane and fun and whatever else, but we talked about some pretty deep stuff. In fact, our very first communicator on Friday night, Wes Wilson, he talked about being a passionate promoter. And his question at the end was, why are we more passionately promoting things like the latest fashion trend or video game or sharing a video that was on YouTube or something like that? Why are we promoting those things more than we're promoting Jesus? Right? Like, why do we talk about sort of the hobbies in our lives more than we talk about Jesus with other people? And what would it take? What kind of experience would you have to have in order to move it forward? And many people, I think, had that kind of experience this weekend. They had an incredible experience with Jesus that's caused them to want to be a passionate promoter for him. And then on Sunday morning, Sarah Springer came and spoke a word essentially about what would it look like for Jesus to be your friend, right? Sometimes we think about that, sometimes we don't, but like, what would it look like for not only Jesus to be this guy that's really a long ways away and, just feels distant in our life, and some guy that died on a cross, but this guy who was our friend. In fact, Jesus wants to be your friend. And she read in John chapter 15, verse 15, she says this, I no longer call you servants because servant does not know his master's business. Jesus says, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I've made known to you. You see, Jesus is calling us friends. He wants us to be his friend. And then on Saturday night, I came up and spoke a little bit about that. I shared some crazy parts of my story, some stuff about my brother, which, by the way, my brother is here this weekend, and he's going to come to the 11 o'clock service tomorrow, and he's going to hear what I talked about him, okay? So, pray for me, because he knows that I share stories about him and I all the time, and he's going to hear some of them tomorrow morning, and pray that he doesn't beat me up this time around. But I talked a little bit about some of the pain in my life, and how not only do I need healing in my life, and not only am I the victim in some instances, but I'm also the culprit, right? I'm also the wrongdoer. I also do some bad things myself. And while we want Jesus to be our friend, what's amazing about Jesus is that if we rewind just 2 verses in John chapter 15, verse 13, we see that he says this. He says, listen, there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends, and you are my friends. Okay, Jesus died for us, and it was this incredible, incredible thing. And we talked about, what it looks like to live in freedom from the cross and live in healing from the grave. And it was a pretty powerful moment. In fact, it was so powerful that when students came up to receive Christ for the very first time, there were other students that were leading them to Christ. Okay? When we have testimony time here in just a minute, if any of you out there were on the evangelism team and you're helping to lead students to Christ, I would love for you to say a few things about that. I would love to hear from you. What was that like for you to lead other students to Christ? Or maybe you were one of those students that was led to Christ by one of your peers, and I want to know what that was like. You know, I also want to know that that night I came out and prayed for healing for a lot of people. And I've gotten a lot of really cool emails this week, y'all. I've gotten a lot of cool emails from parents and students and people that have said, let me tell you what happened in our family. And I would love for you to share some of that stuff up front here. And with me, I want to hear so many of these things. Then on Sunday morning, Tyler Grissom came and he spoke about, what it means to love our neighbors as ourselves, and how we have neighbors all around us. And it's not just the people in our physical neighborhood, but, it's people that sit next to us at lunch or that are in our classroom. And we want to love our neighbors as ourselves and bring the good news of Jesus to them. And so we did all these cool things. We had a lot of fun. But the truth is, I could explain this to you forever and ever and ever, or I could just show it to you with our highlight clip that you'll see right here. You see, the pain that I've been through in my life, the pain that you have been through in your life, have been healed by Jesus. Because Jesus defeated the ultimate pain, which is death. He defeated it all. And so when I see that grave, I see Jesus coming out of that grave. When I see that cross, I see freedom. Freedom from my sins, from the bad things I've done. All because a man went through a brutal death, dying on that cross. If I want you to think about something, which one do you need more right now? Do you need the cross more, or you need the grave more? Maybe you need both. Right? Maybe you need freedom and you need healing. Maybe you just need to remind yourself that Jesus defeated death. And some of you desperately need healing in your life. You've been hurt or you've hurt yourself. And you need to remind yourself that Jesus conquered that hurt and brought healing when he came out of that grave. Because listen, when I see that cross, I see freedom. When I see that grave, I see Jesus. One of the things that Jesus talks about a lot is remembering. Many of you have heard of communion before. And what communion is all about is remembering what Jesus did. He says, take my body, take my blood, and do this in remembrance of me. Because let's be honest with ourselves. There's oftentimes in our spiritual journeys where we'll have these kind of mountaintop experiences, these peak experiences with Jesus, and then the week will go by and we'll forget a little bit. And my hope is that this week that's happened already, for those of you that went to Summer Peak, that you haven't forgotten. But my guess is that there's some of it that started fading a little bit. And so I think what's so important about this time of testimony is it's not only a reminder to yourself, but it's also a reminder to others out there what God has done in your life. All right, so I need a few people to come up here. If you're ready to share your testimony, just come on up. Get up on this stage. Give it up for them. Come on. You can clap for them. Come on up. Get up on the stage. Jump up here. whoever's ready to do it, I need you to give me some testimony and tell everybody sort of what went on, okay? Are you ready? Like, you're going to be very brave and go first? All right, tell us your name and what happened.
I'm Lucy, and
Hey, Lucy.
I went to Summer Peak and learned that God really loved me. And then the night after, my cat got attacked by a coyote.
Oh, when you got home? Oh, my goodness.
And if I didn't go to Summer Peak, I wouldn't have learned that that was for a reason.
Wow, okay, well, let's go. Give it up for Lucy. Come on, Lucy. All right, tell us your name. What happened?
Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
Hi. At Summer Peak, I was really happy when I saw all the kids go up on stage and become believers of Christ. That was really cool to see.
And wait, hold on. What was it like for you? Because you were up there as they were coming up. Describe that, because there were some people that were not there. Tell us what happened.
Well, at first I felt like overwhelmed because I realized like there were way more people than I thought there would be.
Yeah. Which, when he means way more, we're talking 40 people gave their life to Christ for the very first time this weekend. We can give it up to them.
But my second reaction was God's touched all these people this weekend, and that just seemed so powerful and so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. Give it up for Gabe, y'all. It was awesome. All right, tell us your first name and what happened.
My name's Brant.
Come on.
And then the week I got back, I told all my friends about it, and then they said they'll come next week to church with me, and so that was pretty cool.
Nice. I love that. Wait, hold on. What did you tell them? Like, when you say you tell your friends about it, what did you tell them?
I just told them how much fun it was and how much I learned about Jesus Christ that week, and then they said I want to come, so we're inviting them to church next week.
Do your friends, I'm always curious about this with you guys. Are your friends ever weirded out about being invited to church? Do they think, like, those church people are kooky?
Yeah.
They do? Yeah, okay. All right. So how do you convince them, like, they're not all crazy Bible-beating people? Like, what is your move?
I just kept nagging at them until they finally said yes.
Okay. All right, well, yeah, do what you got to do. All right, give it up for them. Come on, y'all. All right.
I'm Bianca.
Hi, Bianca.
And so I was on the evangelism team, which is like the thing where you pray for everybody. So like before I was like really nervous because like I was like worried I would like mess up or something because it's like really important.
Yeah, totally.
But like once I got up there, it was like really cool to like help people commit their lives. So yeah.
So, okay, describe your emotion a little bit more, because as people are coming up, were you scared? Were you nervous? What was that like?
I was kind of nervous because it's like really important, but once they came up, I like felt like I'm being a leader and I have to like help them and then lead them to Christ. So yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Give it up for Bianca, please. Come on. A couple more. I could take a couple more. Also, if there's a couple leaders that would love to share some of their experience as well, I'd love for you to share part of your experience. You can just kind of push them up there. Yeah, force them to go. That's fine. Just push them up. We want to, come on up. Come on up, guys. All right, tell us what happened, man.
Okay, I'm Camden. Hello, that's
Hey,
pretty
Camden.
loud. So my favorite part of camp was on the first night, this guy right here, Gage. We're sitting here, we're telling scary stories, right? And I could tell that Gage was the most scared because he was sitting there crying. Peeing his pants. And yeah, I was too. And so I started talking to him a lot about Ethiopia and about how God shone through there and how there's similarities between the camp. And Gage was just sitting up there, and he only person that stayed awake. I must have been sitting there ranting for 45 minutes, and it was really cool to see that somebody's on fire enough for Jesus. He's willing to listen to me rant about something as boring as that. So
awesome, Gage. Yes, Camden. Good job, guys. Good job.
My name's Chase. What's up, guys?
What's up, Chase?
Yeah. Probably my favorite part about camp is seeing our dudes in our group. You know, like guys are supposed to be like tough and like, oh, we're not going to talk about feelings, whatever.
Yeah.
But they totally opened up, and it's so cool, like seeing them worship just with their hands raised. You know,
That's awesome.
something bigger than themselves.
Yeah,
It's
you know,
awesome.
that is, it's definitely a thing for guys. And I know, girls, you have this a little bit too, but for guys, sometimes it's like we can't admit what's actually going on in us because guys are brutal to each other, all right? I mean, Camden just came up here and made fun of Gage and then gave him a compliment right after that. Okay, so that's sort of what happens with guys at times. So it's hard sometimes for us to admit what's going on. So that's a pretty killer compliment that, you know, you're admitting, hey, the guys actually got deep in our small group, which is, way to go, guys, that was awesome.
Hi, I'm Darby. And on Saturday night, 10 out of our 12 girls accepted Christ for the first time.
Wow.
So,
That's a lot. Wow.
So that was really cool to see and get to be a part of that. So.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm Abby.
Hey, Abby.
So Matt kind of talked a lot about healing and praying over people that needed healing. And that was something that I saw was super prevalent in our group. Like so many of our girls really experienced healing. And one of my favorite things that I heard in small group was one of our girls said that when people discourage you and get down on you, it's like words are being written all over her body. But when she came up to the front and accepted Christ, it felt like she was being scrubbed clean, which I just thought was such a beautiful picture of the kind of healing that went on at camp. So yeah, we were really excited about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Give it up for them. Good job, y'all. Good job. Y'all can have a seat. You know, there are so many cool stories, and like I said, we have to keep talking about it. We have to remember them. You know, there's a bunch of stories. I was getting a bunch of emails and stories as I got back, but I want to share one of them with you. First of all, I want to share with you what happened to me, sort of a testimony for me. Many of you that were there, you remember after we did sort of an altar call and had the students come up front to receive Christ, Ryan played the song a little bit more, and then after he played the song, I came out and I prayed for healing. And I said, if anybody needs healing, raise their hands, and it felt like a third of the room, hands were raised. And it was this pretty big moment. Well, let me tell you what was happening before that. Okay, what happened right before that is that I was sitting backstage while Ryan and the band were, you know, playing the songs and everything. And I'm sitting backstage, and I realized all of a sudden that I forgot my microphone. Okay, dead serious. I'm like sitting back there behind the stage. You guys are all worshiping. Everything's happening. And next thing I know, I realize I don't have my microphone. I'm kind of freaking out at this moment. Okay, and I'm like, how am I going to do this, you know? And so I go back behind the stage, and I go outside, and I'm walking outside. I'm getting ready to go to the tech booth where Julian, look up, you guys can see Julian way up there. He was there, yeah. So Julian was back there, you know, at Summer Peak, and I'm about to go to just run up there and be like, dude, I need my microphone. And right as I'm about to walk in, Sarah Springer, who spoke on Saturday morning, stopped me and said, oh, Matt, I'm so happy that I get to see you. Can I pray for you right now? And this is not a very pastoral thing to do, but in my mind I was thinking, oh, this is the worst timing to pray for me because I'm in a hurry right now. I don't even have my microphone on, and you're going to have this long prayer, and I'm going to miss, you know, getting out on stage. And so I really was freaking out. I basically told her, no, I don't want you to pray for me. And it was this really odd moment, but in my mind I knew like maybe. And so literally what I said to her, I said, yeah, okay, just make it really quick. You know, just make this prayer like really, really fast. And she's like, okay. And so she starts to pray for me, and I'm still pessimistic at this moment, right? After she had prayed for me, literally she was about 2 sentences into the prayer, and I realized this is gonna be a longer prayer than I was ready for. Like that was what was going on in my mind. But then right after I admitted that, like this is gonna be a longer prayer than I wanted, all of a sudden my spirit started to get calm, and I was able to hear the words that she was saying. And my heart, this is what is so weird about God. My heart started to get heavy in that moment. Okay, God doesn't do, like I've never seen a physical angel or heard God audibly talk to me before. I've never had any crazy experiences like that, but I've had some pretty deep ones. And this was one of them where I felt my heart just felt heavy in that moment. And the word that God put in my mind in that moment was healing as she was praying for me. The prayer that I didn't even want. She's praying for me and I'm feeling this. So we say amen, and I go get my microphone, and I walk back behind the stage at Summer Peak, and I just walk right up to Ryan. And as I walk up to Ryan, he can see the distress in my face, and I just kind of fall down to a knee, and I'm crying, and I'm like, Ryan, I need you to be ready just in case something needs to be changed about the service, right? We plan our services very meticulously, and I was like, something might have to change, and Ryan said, it's okay. It's okay. We'll just let the Spirit sort of move. And so I started crying, and he started crying, and we're two dudes crying backstage, and it's weird. And then he just started praying for me. He started praying for me, and he started praying for the service, and I didn't even know what was going to happen. But then after the altar call and everything, I was behind stage, and I just felt like, okay, God, what did you want to do with this whole healing thing? And God just told me, I want you to go out there, and I want you to pray for healing for people. And that was a scary thing for me to do. It was kind of a weird thing for me to do, but I did it. I went out there and I said, if anybody needs healing prayer, I want you to raise your hands. And I'm telling you, I've heard so many cool stories from that over this past week. In fact, I had a parent who emailed me and said, hey, what time did you pray for healing? And I told her it was around, 6:30, something like that. And she said, because in that moment, my husband and I were having a hard time, and then all of a sudden in that moment, forgiveness came over our hearts. And we started building our relationship together. And I was like, that is amazing. Right? This was me being doubtful about somebody wanting to pray for me. But then when someone prayed for me and I finally let God in, something awesome happened. So I don't know where you're at right now. I don't know if you went to Summer Peak and you had an awesome moment and you've struggled keeping it up, or maybe you've had a great week. Maybe you went to Summer Peak and you're like, I didn't have that awesome experience that everybody else had. Or maybe you just didn't go to Summer Peak at all and you're like, what am I supposed to do now? Well, let me tell you what you do now. Regardless of what situation you were in, you just worship right here and right now. No matter what happened last weekend or this past week, let's just put it down and say, okay, God, let me worship you. So we're going to do that. In fact, I want you to stand up with me. We're going to sing this last song. It's called Close, and it's about us wanting to be close to him. And so let's be close to him. Let's pray. Father, help us to be close to you. Lord, help us to remember sort of what went on this past weekend, and even those of students that didn't come this past weekend. Lord, I ask that you help us to remember when you've done some amazing things in our lives. Remind us of the blessings that we have in our lives. God, I want to be close to you. We love you, Lord, and say these things in your name. Amen.
I want to be close to you. I want to be close to you. There's nothing in this world that compares to all you are. I want to be close to you. I want to be close to you. There's nothing in this world that compares to all you are. In the arms of the Father, there is love like no other. He who formed all things offers love to me. you go, we will follow. Through the dark, through the narrow, and in all we do, we are bound to you. Let's sing it out. I want to be close to you. I want to be close to you. There's nothing in this world that compares to all you are. And we are found in your presence, seeking you in your fullness. Give us eyes to see. You are all we need. I want to be close to you. I want to be close to you. There's nothing in this world that compares to all you are. I want to be close. I want to be close to you. I want to be close to you. There's nothing in this world that compares to all you are. My sole devotion, my only focus, to worship you. My life surrendered, my heart abandoned for more of you. My sole devotion, my only focus, to worship you. My life surrendered, my heart abandoned for more of you. 'Cause I want to be close to you. I want to be close to you. There's nothing in this world that compares to all you are. Yes, I want to be close to you. I want to be close to you. There's nothing in this world that compares to all you are. There's nothing in this world. There's nothing in this world that compares to all you are. Lord God, we make that the prayer of our hearts, and the cry of our hearts, just to be closer to you, that we just pursue after you, and just never cease to do that, because we know you are good. And that when we do that, when we seek after you, that we just become more like you. And that's a good thing. So we just pray these things in your great and wonderful name. And all God's people said,
Amen.
Amen.
So as I was thinking about Summer Peak, it always blows me away how powerful God shows up at camp, right? And I was like, what is it about camp that this happens? Is it that we're in the mountains? Is it that we're all together? Like, what is it about camp that does that? You honestly know what I think it is? I think it's the fact that we are pursuing God with our whole hearts. And I want you to know that that's not something unique that has to be at camp. that you can experience that closeness to God. You can experience that relationship with Jesus as you pursue him during the week here. You can do that here at Midpoint. So here are my 2 challenges to you, okay? The first is this. In small group today, pursue Jesus, okay? Get close to him. Be vulnerable with each other. Open up. Be intentional about listening and paying attention and digging into God's word. So that's my challenge 1. The second is this. Invite Jesus to school with you tomorrow. You know, so much we see like God showed up so much at camp, and it's because we were pursuing him. But oftentimes we say, okay, well, this is church and this is camp, but this is school. And Jesus, like, you don't belong at school. Or, you know, you just belong at church, you just belong at camp. But my challenge to you tomorrow is as you head off to school, say, Jesus, I invite you to be here at school with me. Sit next to me in class, hang out at lunch with me, all that stuff. I invite you here to be with me and see what happens as you pursue Jesus and you try to be a friend to Jesus like he's trying to be a friend with you, right? Okay, so head to your small groups. If this is your first time to Saturday Squad, there's only one small group for every grade, every gender, so we'll help you find your group. Guys, head back to that room. Girls, you guys stay in here. Thanks so much. So girls in here, guys across the hall. Thank you.